Hi everyone, this is Lauren Steiner with the Robust Opposition, and I am here at the Amazon delivery facility in Mills River, North Carolina. This is one of 53 solidarity protests for the unionization effort of the Amazon warehouse in Bessemer, Alabama, just outside of Birmingham, that has 5,800 workers. This is only the second time in Amazon's history that they've attempted to unionize. The first one was in Delaware, a much smaller effort, and it did fail. They have 2 months to vote, and Amazon is doing everything in their power to break the union. They hired this big law firm that is known for union busting, and they are doing these, what they call captive audience meetings of the workers. Bessemer, Alabama used to be the center of the Steelworkers Union, and they mined for iron ore and coal there, and they manufactured steel, and in its heyday, in the mid-20th century, 25% of the workforce was unionized. Now it's only about 8%. About 85% of the workers are African American, and they are organizing from a bottom-up, anti-racist perspective. Amazon is the second largest employer in the United States, and Jeff Bezos is the wealthiest man in the United States. His fortune increased another $100 billion during the pandemic. He is now worth $184 billion. And the average worker at in Alabama makes about $30,000 a year. And even though they're being paid $15 an hour, which is about twice the minimum wage, they still are complaining of very poor working conditions. In addition to the thing that I covered with Chris Smalls on my show, when he was fired for organizing workers in Staten Island about COVID safety procedures, they also have this time on task metric that they use to make sure that you're working fast enough. And there's so much pressure on the workers that many of them have to pee in bottles.
And we partnered with the local PSL, DSA, and Central Labor Council to put this on today. We heard about what was happening with workers unionizing in Bessemer, Alabama, and it's a historic event. We want to make sure that workers here in Asheville know that that's happening and know that people on the outside care about them and support their right to a union.
So we're handing out leaflets. This one is focused on what's happening in Bessemer at the Amazon warehouse where they're unionizing. We got a second one that's with the Workers Assembly here in Western North Carolina, or the Southern Workers Assembly as well, with just some quotes and information more locally. We've talked to a number of different people. We've had some folks who are outright just, hey, would love more information, would like to get more involved, know what's happening. And then that guy specifically, he was letting us know that up at the warehouse, they are talking about what's happening down here. They are not pleased with what's happening, but we're making some good connections. This warehouse recently opened up. They subcontract, it sounds like, almost all of the work. So Amazon really tries to put off accountability to the workers as much as possible. But it's clear that a lot of the folks who are working here are seeing through that. One woman paid $15 an hour, but she's given 20 hours of work. When she requested a raise, because she's not able to get 40 hours, she was denied. Another person shared how he's a driver, and one of the biggest challenges is that he is having to deliver packages in places that feel unsafe. So yeah, I think folks have been much more talkative than I was expecting.
It's like Lauren Steiner coming over here.
We got Ken Jones here from the Reject Raytheon Coalition. Ken, you're fighting the good fight. Tell us why you're here today.
Well, you know, this is an action in solidarity with a group down in Bessemer, Alabama, who are trying to unionize. The first group that, Amazon workers who are trying to get a union together. Of course, Amazon tried to stop them, but they got the legal go-ahead, and they have about a month to get everybody organized. So all around the country, people are getting to Amazon warehouses and so forth in solidarity, and that's what we're doing here. Looks like we got about 30 people out here right now in solidarity.
I'm with the IBEW, and unions have changed my life, and I think other people deserve the right to have that chance too.
I'm with the IBEW as well as the EBOR member of the Western North Carolina CLC. Just showing solidarity and being out here on the front line, showing them that everybody in their local area is here to support them.
And as a socialist, I stand for worker solidarity and union rights, as Amazon is one of the most exploitative workplaces across the country, especially during the pandemic. Where they haven't provided the right PPE and everything, and especially the firing of Chris Smalls and various various other issues. I mean, Jeff Bezos has gotten trillions of dollars richer. If his salary and how he treats his workers doesn't show the symptoms of capitalism and why that system should be abolished, then I don't know what does.
I just don't understand what you do with that amount of wealth, and especially when it's a lot of humans that are generating it for you and you won't give them certain basic rights during a global pandemic. I think it's disgusting.
It just makes me sick to my stomach that Jeff Bezos could have given every one of his employees, 800,000 employees, a couple $100,000, and he would have still been as rich as he was at the beginning of 2020. So why can't he provide a living wage and health care and health insurance for his employees? It's utterly immoral, and greed is going to kill this country unless we do something about it, and we can only do it if we get together and stand together to make sure it happens.
I'm tired of people being pitted against each other, and I think the way to work together is to support each other, to support unions so that workers get a fair deal. I think the next step is to boycott, begin to boycott. Where you spend every single penny matters, and so do it with consciousness and support workers.
So this is the first time, Ken, that I've ever lived in a right-to-work state. You want to explain to the viewers what that means?
Yeah, right to work means right to starve. It's a euphemism. It's the way to bust unions. It's a law that people pass to say that you don't have to pay your union dues. If there's a union in the shop where you're working, you don't have to pay the dues. You have a right to work there without being in the union. Of course, you benefit from everything the union does. So it's a way to deprive unions of their dues, and it's a way to starve them out.
I run the living wage certification program, so we publish a living wage rate for Buncombe County as well as the surrounding rural counties in Western North Carolina. And we have a certification program for businesses to sign on to. Living wages are incredibly important because the minimum wage has not increased in the last 12 years in the United States. So we think it's important that people at the local level know how much people need to be paid in order to afford their basic expenses. I'm also involved with the Western North Carolina Workers Assembly, which in the past was meeting up about once a year, but is now meeting once a month, and is a place for workers from any industry to get together to meet workers either within their industry or from other industries, to develop relationships and to build skills together to organize around various labor issues that affect their daily lives.
I'm here for the same reason that I think just about everybody else is here, which is, solidarity and support of workers.
Do you think that if the workers in Bessemer okay this union, it's going to be revolutionary and a lot of other Amazon warehouses are going to follow suit and a lot of other non-unionized places of employment will follow suit?
I think there's a really good opportunity for that if it does happen, for sure. But, I'm sure there will be a strong media campaign, downplaying, the positive effects if it does go through, for sure.
Here in Western North Carolina, we saw nurses at Mission Hospital beat the odds to get their union last year, and they're still in the process of negotiating a contract with the hospital here in Western North Carolina. So that fight is not totally won, but they did something totally historic, and I think workers can build power wherever they are. It's very hard. We in North Carolina, here in Western North Carolina, just in the last year have seen what small businesses with less resources can do in terms of union busting. And so I can only imagine that a company like Amazon with endless resources is pulling out all the stops to keep their workers from unionizing. But it's absolutely possible. The workers need to trust in each other. I have a lot of hope, and I hope that workers who work for Amazon all over the country are also feeling a lot of hope that this is happening and that all eyes are on Bessemer. And I hope that Amazon feels that pressure because the whole country is supporting them. They're watching them, waiting to see this historic vote. But absolutely, I think they can do it.